Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Eric.
Oh, God. That sounds terrible. What happened?
I lost my voice.
Yeah, well, this is gonna be interesting for the people who tune in for your Adele impression.
Thank you.
People who are here for your Mickey Mouse impression.
Ha-ha.
People who are here for your Yo Gotti impression.
I am.
Well, maybe it's still pretty good. And it should be said that during the episode, Jeff's voice sounds totally fine. We pre-recorded this episode, so for the intro and the outro, that's when your voice isn't ideal.
I sound like the kid in the movies who's like, Mom, Dad, are you getting divorced because of me?
And now, guys, time for a huge announcement. Jeff, are you excited?
I am.
Jeff, are you ready?
I am.
Are you Yo Gotti?
I am.
You heard what we did down at Bonnaroo. You heard what we did at the Yo Lono tour. And you definitely heard about our sold-out show at SOB's here in New York City. Well, it's time that we take our concert out there to the West Coast, November 2nd, 2017. It's The Real live in Los Angeles, performing all your favorite songs, Dave Matthews Band's Waco, Sugar High, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Top 135, Dead or Alive. It's the most fun that you guys are going to have at a concert. Inspiration, laughs, storytelling. If you love It's The Real, you're going to love It's The Real live in Los Angeles. Get your tickets right now at ItsTheReal.com. We're going to be performing our music. We're going to be bringing out special guests. We're going to do, for the VIPs, a special Q&A meet and greet, amazing hour beforehand. You know the track record we have with amazing shows, SOBs, Highline Ballroom, Hoxton Square Bar and Kitchen out there in London. Let's make this another humongous night. Let's sell out this room. Tell your friends, tell your family, bring a whole bunch of people and have them leaving the concert saying, nah, for real, for real. Bootleg Theater, ItsTheReal.com. Tickets available right now.
Make sure to subscribe to youtube.com/ItsTheReal for all of our upcoming videos, including the Rockefeller podcast, which is done.
It is done. It's in the hands of Jay-Z, so we're waiting to hear, his okay.
And also the Semtex interview, which we put out last week. We will now have video for that coming out very soon. I sound like Jadakiss's laugh without the laugh.
Today on the podcast, Jeff, you know that we have DJ Set Free, the guy behind the AND1 Mixtapes. Set Free is a guy who didn't have any formal training in marketing or advertising. He just knew what was dope. He trusted his gut and he knew what the culture wanted, and he created one of the great campaigns in advertising history, his work with AND1. We talk about touring the world with Mos Def, working with Nike, working with LeBron, Latrell Sprewell, Questlove, so much more in here. It's a great episode. We talk about these 4-foot Charlie Brown toys he did with Ron English. It's incredible. Shout out to Set Free. Shout out to the compound up there in the Bronx. Jeff, when do you want to get into this?
Right now.
Yo, what up? It's Eric, a.k.a. Whip and Work, a.k.a. Kentucky Derby.
Yo, what up? It's Jeff, a.k.a. Drop Bombs from Far Away, a.k.a. Nuke Van Exel.
Yo, what up? It's Set Free, a.k.a. the reinvented slave out here.
Whoa. This is the way it's done with It's The Real. Bow, bow, bow. What's happening?
Oh, I'm blessed, man. I just got the greatest news today, man. I made a toy. I don't know if y'all know I made a toy.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to show y'all the toy.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to take it out their bag right now. But me and Ron English made a toy.
Okay.
And I just got the news that he got the 4-foot toys in his house.
Yo.
Yeah, so
First of all,
it's a black Charlie Brown.
Yeah, we've seen in pictures on your Instagram.
Okay.
Black Charlie Brown,
I'm super excited, man. It's like a day that I'm like, wow, to work with one of my favorite artists.
How does that even come to be?
Okay, I'm gonna make the story short and quick. I was DJing for Mos Def in Berlin.
Right.
Okay, just like a normal story.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Real quick. And I met, we call him the cobbler. His name is Chris Conley, on a company called Made by Monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Been in the industry forever. He's the person that makes a lot of people toys, from Cause in the early days, Ron English, Bounty Hunter. His family makes Star Wars, and I seen a Mickey Mouse with a gas mask on it. And I was like, yo, that's my logo. I need that. So I was like a chick that wanted to get pregnant by an NBA player. I just wouldn't leave him alone. And he was like, look, I'm doing work, and leave me alone. I'm busy. I'm setting up my art gallery. And I was like, all right, you can act like that. Cool. So then I went on stage and I started DJing for Mos Def, and he was like, "Oh shit, you are important." And I stayed in touch with him. He said, "If you seriously want to make a tour, come to Hong Kong."
You went all the way to Hong Kong.
Went to Hong Kong.
What's that flight like, first of all?
The first one was great because I was with Mos Def,
Yeah.
and we did a show. So I got like the apartment in the front.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The other 3 times was like, you know, an apartment in Spanish Harlem. It was kind of crazy.
But the end result is, you know, all
the
that
end
matters,
result
right?
is this little guy on the table right now.
So congratulations on
Oh,
that.
thank you so much.
Let's get into it. Where are you from?
I was born in the Bronx
Whereabouts?
on Fulton. I lived in Fulton Street till I was like 2.
Okay.
So I don't remember nothing.
Right.
Then we moved to Queens and moved to Laurelton.
So do you consider yourself more of a Queens guy?
Yeah, Queens and Philly.
Queens and Philly.
Philadelphia.
When'd you move to Philly?
I moved to Philadelphia when I was a young age. So then I went to Philly, but my whole life has been 95 North, 95 South.
Yep.
So I feel like my swag and style and musical background knowledge is from that Run DMC, LL, Lost Boys. But then I went
You're
to
real Queens. Yeah.
Yeah, so Queens.
Yeah.
So Queens. And then I went to Philly, and that's when the whole DJ world started.
Right.
And that's from Cash Money and Miz, and
Yep.
Jazzy Jeff.
Yeah.
So I got a high, I used to call it was not even a word, but bi-state. So I was like bi-state.
Right.
Right,
So
because
it's-
you're not doing Jersey.
Oh, no, not Mitchell and S. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
That's the only jerseys I'm doing.
So what is growing up in Queens like?
It was great, man. It was Green Acre Dollar Vans. The Dollar Vans was great. Green Acres Mall. I was seeing Juice there. Caught a Dollar Van back. Got on the turntables. Thought I was cute. Broke a needle that night. Just
Siblings?
2 sisters older.
Older.
Yeah, I was the baby. You know, literally, LL's grandma lived 7 blocks away. Run and them used to record everything at Larry Smith's house. He was a producer for Run DMC. I used to
Right.
go over Larry Smith's house at a young age.
Crazy.
Sweet tea.
Well, how did you meet Larry Smith?
Through Run DMC. Just going over there, like, they was always around. They were on the steps, drinking 40s, or forever. And, you know, the Coliseum. I was always shopping at the Coliseum. I remember Pharaoh and Organized Confusion used to be at a record store called Hot Watts on Merrick Boulevard. So just growing up in the epic times of Queens. And literally when my parents was like, "Y'all, we're moving to Philly," I just was crying all the time.
Yeah.
Your parents said the bridge is over.
Yeah, it was over. The bridge was over. And like I was like, why are we moving in the greatest time of hip hop?
Yeah.
Like Nas and just seeing everything starting from, you know, I was like, we're leaving here
So your parents wanted to move,
to a safer neighborhood.
but they didn't care about the rap stuff.
Oh no,
They weren't like, oh, the music. Actually, you want to know what? We're going to keep it.
Well, they was comparing, you know, Rakim to the OJs, so Rakim lost. Like, you know? So it was never about the music.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
no.
But you know, Philly is great. I learned another part of the hip hop culture of DJing because it was technical.
And what did you bring from Queens to Philly?
Well, I was in high school. First, all the girls called me New York.
Right.
I liked it that.
Yeah.
Mixtapes. I came down with Ron G, Doo Wop, SNS.
People are like, what? Who are you?
Yeah, they're like, yo, what are you doing? So I started selling them in school, high school. Started selling mixtapes. Came down with the Triple Fat Goose.
Wait, does that mean that you're like dubbing the tapes yourself?
Oh, hell yes.
Yeah. So how many are you moving? Like,
I was trying to get money back then. I was trying to get a couple dollars, but you know, people was like, yo. So I was like the physical version of the Source magazine because I was literally coming back and forth telling, yo, this is what's happening. This is what's happening. So every summer I would stay in Queens and come back for like back and forth. I go to school, do the school season, and stay in New York in the summer.
and so who are some of the artists that you like broke down in Philly? Who are you telling all your classmates about? And you're like, yo, this guy's up.
Wow, Mike Geronimo.
Yeah.
Nobody was up on him at all.
Queens.
Chi Ali.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet Tea. Everybody knew Shan and KRS-One.
Right.
Positive K, because he used to record in Queens.
Yeah.
LL was LL.
And what about your style? Like, was that different than the Philly kids?
Yeah, coming to Philly with Adidas with no shoestrings was like, yo, what are you doing? got the hottest slippers in the game right now. Like these Adidas with no laces and slippers. So
And when you were coming back up to Queens, were you also saying like John like all the time? Or were you just like that's their thing?
I didn't get it. I didn't get the slang yet.
I
Right?
still don't get it.
John is hot though, you know, because you could use it for a lot of. If you don't know what you're talking about, you be like, "Yo, I'm on their podcast, the John." You know, you know the John. But it was a lot of ball, the ball.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to really spell that. I think it's BOAH now. It's ball.
Yeah.
And then the young ball.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Ak.
Yeah.
Ak is definitely one.
When do you actually first start getting into DJing?
I started actually getting into DJing. I don't care about my date. I got good skin. 86 was when I started DJing.
And was it a serious thing, or were you just like, let me play around and see?
It was like, you know what? When I was in Philly, I was in high school, it was 9th grade, and I was like, wow. So my ideology has always been like, Philly has better technical DJs. New York has better character, voice, and blending DJs, and rocking the party DJs. I always said if you took Jazzy Jeff and Kid Capri and made one person, it's the most incredible DJ in the world.
Well, who is the most incredible DJ in the world?
It depends. You want a party DJ or you want a technical DJ? So I was like, wow, I see something. I was like, you know what? I'm a DJ, New York style, but in Philly. And that's when the yelling and the screaming and the swag and all the sound effects and all that started. And I DJ'd enough to knew I was nice enough to rock a party, not crazy, going behind my back,
No
under my
routine.
shoulder.
Yeah.
But just enough to, you know, blending. Like when you was taking the Mary J. Blige and you putting it over Onyx, they was like, yo, what are you doing? And you take the bridges over and you put, you know, like a Patti LaBelle record over. They was like, yo, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So that was my technique of DJing in Philadelphia. That was what made me really like I got something.
So high school though,
High school, yep.
and like high school parties.
High school parties, couple proms.
Wow.
That was when I was like, yo, I could charge $200.
Yeah, you get money.
You remember the PVF speakers with the gray carpet? It was like a PVF speaker, the old Jamaican stack ups.
Yeah.
I got a set of those, and I was like, yo, I could make money doing parties.
You have a car?
My dad had a 1980 Isuzu I-Mark diesel.
With enough room to take speakers.
Yeah, enough room to take speakers. So I used to drive that all the time. And then he also had the Scooby-Doo van. Like it was brown with the white top. With you remember the four captain's chair with the stove?
Yep.
I got to use that. And you could get your license in Philadelphia at 15. So
Did not know that.
Yep. And the Philly was great because it was no class. You just drive in a parking lot to get your license.
Yo, who were your people who were carrying your crates?
Wow. Travie Trav, Big Kendall, Skeeter Boo, Casper G, Donnie Mac. That was my whole squad. We used to roll out and carry the crates.
Yo, shout out to them because that's the real.
That's that we used to like with Pep City Hustlers. That was our name at one point, and we used to do parties at Lincoln University, Westchester University. That's when I was like, yo, I really could be somebody.
Yeah.
That was my brother Jazz. And Taz, that was my whole little squad.
That's a lot of records.
Yeah, but you got to think like, yo, we had the double crate, the long double milk crates.
Yep.
So I was like, you know, everybody was trying to get the singles, but we taking 10, 12 crates to the party, speakers, amps.
And then like in terms of like the music scene that's in Philly at that time.
Steady B, Cool C, Jazzy Jeff, Fresh Prince, of course.
So this is before like Boyz II Men.
Yeah. This is before Boyz II Men. You had I don't know if Bahamadia was on the end cuffs of that. Then Illegal. Remember Illegal?
The boy band.
Not band, but boy rappers.
Yeah.
Them.
Wait, what did they turn into?
They was down with Tretch at one point.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they was in Philly. The Roots was just starting when they had Malik Bey.
You have that Queens basis. You have that Philly knowledge. At the end of high school, like, what's the move for you in a professional?
I was like, I'm going back to New York. I was like,
what'd your folks say?
There's like, because they knew I was just so into the music. I was like, I'm going back to New York. And I was like, they was like, oh, all right. I was like, I'm going to live with my Uncle George on 221st and 130th. And I was like, I just got to get back. I want to get back. I'm missing something.
So what happens when you come back to New York?
It was great. I grew up under like Prince Paul and Daddy-O. They was like two of my big mentors, and Daddy-O was like at MCA Records, A&R, him and Kedar. So I was always around them, and then Prince Paul literally was just starting the Gravediggers and stuff. So those were like who I was running with between them two, and just learned a lot. Built a little studio back on the block, and we had like a blue SP12. We had a Fostech 6-track machine.
Does that mean you were producing too?
Yeah, I produced, made a couple beats, and that was when I started really learning the industry. Like, when I came
Trust
back.
everybody.
You know what? I got guided a little bit. My Daddy-O and Prince Paul kind of told me how the game was from, just from Stetsasonic and them. Then to both of them going on different paths, like with Paul starting De La Soul and, and the Gravediggers. So he knew the business from artist still in the group perspective. And then Daddy-O being executive, A&R at MCA with Mary J. Blige and all that. And, Kedar had Erykah Badu and Freestyle Fellowship. So I just got to learn that at a young age under watching both of them.
And were you still spinning?
Nah, when I came back to New York, I was like, I'm a little fish in a big pond.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Let me learn this blue SP12. Let me learn this Akon 900, 950.
Yeah.
I wanted to step my game up and start to learn how to start producing. Now,
so did you think that you were going to go into the label system? Did you think that you were going to like just handle production? Like, what was the move?
Or are you like that young that you're just sort of like, you're just there?
So we had a group. I don't like talking about it because they didn't make it, but we had a group called the Unknown Roughnecks. And,
Well, that's why they didn't make it.
Of course. We still unknown. And we swore we had it. We was like, yo, we got Daddy-O in the building, but we just gotta get the demo right, and he gonna sign us.
Right.
So we really, we saved up, took all the money I made, saved the DJ, and we got all the equipment. We had like I said, we had all the top notch samplers and everything I felt like we needed to make the right demo. And I just felt like I was gonna be a producer, and just be a DJ enough for the group.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, look at Eric B and look at Jam Master J. I wanted to be a DJ like, forget these parties. Like, I want to be a DJ like them. So that was our whole goal, was to get a deal, and that never happened. And that was never happened.
That was tough.
It was tough. It was especially in that heyday. And my MCs, they were nice, but wasn't nice enough.
Were you taking meetings though, or was it just like you couldn't even get the meetings?
We was infiltrating the buildings, but not really getting meetings.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So like just pressing, numbers on the elevator and then hoping that
going to see Daddy-O and be like, yo, can we go in so-and-so office and play our music? No.
Yeah.
Get out. Go get my lunch. And I'm like, okay. So we never really got the real meeting.
So with that not popping off, like, how'd you move on?
So Prince Paul, where it actually started, he had a job in Switzerland that he couldn't make, a DJ job. He said, do you want to take it? And I was like, it was like a DJ, not battle, but a DJ, like New York person from another country. I was like, yeah, I'll take it.
Well, hold on. Had you been out of the country at that point?
No.
Did you have a passport?
No.
Were you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So I was like, wow, I could do it. He was like, you're going to get paid. I think it was like maybe like close to like $1,000. And I was like, yo, I'm good. I was going by myself.
Yeah.
He gave me the job. I remember the promoter's name was Sven from Switzerland.
Oh, by the way, how's your French?
Nah, it's after Sven, it's over. It's over. Like, and I was like, yo, I can't do no more. And I was like, you know what? Let me take this gig. So I went, I remember, I'll never forget, I had a suitcase and a bag of records, like 40 records that fit in the bag. Got on the plane by myself. My parents took me to JFK. They was crying.
Yeah.
It was like, we might not never see our son again. and this is it. And I was like, I was on a plane for like 13 hours or something. And I was like, wow, what's really happening? Got over there, and I don't want to make this too long, but the promoters was like, they got to the airport, and the first thing they said was like, we have the bubble bath waiting for you. We're ready to take you to your hotel. And I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, no, we ain't going nowhere. Help. So I found the police, and I'll never forget, I stayed at the Hotel Montana. And I was like, take me to my hotel. I don't want to go with y'all. So the police was like, what's going on? I was like, I'm from America. I don't know nobody. And I was like, wow, they said bubble bath, and I don't want to go with them. And so the police took me to Hotel Montana. I literally stayed there. I walked down the street, no English, no phones, pay phones. Picked the pay phone up. They're talking French. I don't know what's going on. Lady at the front desk, no English, and I'm like, what is really happening? So then I walked outside. I met a couple named this guy named Gargamel, and there was 2 black people, a guy named Gargamel and another girl. They took me in for the whole week, took me around, took me to my show. It was the best.
But
best
no bubble
experience.
bath.
No bubble bath.
You ended up playing.
Yeah, I didn't see the promoters until the night of the event, but I didn't even go get with them again.
Yo, your parents were so right to be worried.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was like really a scary trip.
But now you're international.
Yeah, I was international.
So you come back to the United States, and are you like, yo?
So what?
I saw things.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, this is great. I just got a chance to go overseas, and then after that, the next thing that helped me really get into the industry is Prince Paul did an album called Psychoanalysis,
Mm-hmm.
and I got the pleasure to work with him on that, and we did a tour in Europe. We did like Dover. We just did a lot.
You're
of
like
spots.
this shit's old hat. Like
Yeah.
that flight, nothing. Like
Yeah, it was nothing. So the last spot we did was the Jazz Cafe in London for the show.
Where they speak English.
Totally English in London. So then after that, I met an A&R from Tommy Boy Records named Max Nichols. He was like, yo, that was cool what you was doing up there DJing. And I used to bring the sampler on the road with me. So he's like, yo, that's impressive. And I was like, yo, when I get back, I got something. I got a group I'm working with. And he was like, okay, you get a meeting. Like, come on up and play it. And I got back and I took him our demo, and we wound up getting a deal on Tommy Boy Records in 1997.
Whoa.
But that's not the Unknown Roughnecks.
No, that was another group named the Deadly Snakes. Yeah,
That sounds like a gang from like the Warriors.
exactly, or a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Yeah, totally.
So we copied our whole pattern after Wu-Tang. We was like an 8-member group
With a kung fu name.
with a kung fu name. I didn't want a snake name. I always stay set free. My mom and dad, like really from the Fire and Brimstone Church, they was like, "You're not gonna be a snake."
Yeah.
So I was like, "Okay, I'll stay set free." But and we landed 2 tracks on the Jet Li soundtrack, the Black Mass movie.
Whoa.
We had I got to produce. Those were my first 2 tracks sold.
97.
97.
Major label deal.
Tommy Boy Records.
Have you made it? Have you felt like, yo, I'm on top of the world?
I was like, wow. I bought a 1997 Ford Explorer, the 2-door coupe.
Oh.
Like the coupe Jeep.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't afford the 4-door. We had a studio in the basement of Southwest Philly, so we got to keep a lot of the money for recording.
Smart.
I was like, yo, we got a deal. We get to record in Philly. I got a Jeep, and we're on Tommy Boy Records. In the heyday, Capone Noriega just came over.
Mm-hmm.
Royce the 5'9" just came over. Latifah was there. It was just a dope label. I was like, yo, we're on one of the we on Planet Rock. Like I feel like we made it. Then like our first single was in a movie, so I was like, yo,
we're out of here.
We're going good.
Like, this is fucking easy.
I was like, this is great. And then the 8-member group started breaking up.
The thing is, you need a RZA.
Yeah, I tried to be that. I wasn't that strong to be risen up. So one member left, and then everybody was like, "Yo, man, your studio sucks, man. You ain't got no effects. You ain't got no lexicons. You ain't got a eventides." I was like, "Yo, man."
Well, question: did you have any effects?
I didn't have what Chung King had and like D&D, and people started hearing about all the super effects, and I was like, "Yo, I got ADATs doing one." It's like, "No, I don't want to lay flat no more. I need to." Literally, I remember the people was in the booth, and they was like, "Yo, I want to record sounding mixed. I don't want to record sounding flat no more." And I was like, "It's over." I felt like Malcolm on the stage, and somebody was like, "Get your hand on my pocket." And then I left the group next.
Wow.
But
you were set free.
before I left, AND1 found me, and that's when I was
Okay.
like, I left.
All right. How did they find you?
I was in, shout out to Rich Medina and Bobito. They had a record store in Philly called Footwork, right off 2nd and Market. So I used to go there every week to buy records. And I was in there, and my guy now, he's my guy now, but then I didn't know him. His name's Peter Smalls. Mm-hmm. He actually came in the store, and he always collected wax too. So he came in, and he just was staring at me, and he was like, "Yo, man," went in his book bag and was like, "Yo, you like these sneakers?" And I was like, "Nah, they suck, but You connect them to hip hop, they'll work. He was like, what you mean? I was like, yo, man, hip hop's about to be that wave. It's gonna be the #1 marketing tool in the world. He was like, so you can get these on artists? I was like, yeah, it's no problem. Gave me his card. He's like, why don't you come up to AND1 tomorrow? I'll give you a bunch of sneakers and shorts. So I was like, all right, if y'all really gonna give me something. I was about to DJ in Miami at a conference at Fountain Blue. And I forgot the wrestling league, but I was DJing at a wrestling event. Me and the groups, the Snakes was going down there. They were performing, I was DJing at a wrestling event. So they brought me up to office the next day, and they was like, do you like anything in here? And I was like, yo, y'all shorts are fire. And they had the Jordan Nike shorts. They was the first in the game to have them. Yeah. And I was like, yo, if y'all send me some product to my hotel, I get the rappers to wear it and all the people I know in the industry. So they was like, all right. So I called the label, got a hotel address. I get to the Fountain Blue. I got 50 pair of sneakers, like 50 T-shirts, 50 pair of shorts. So
you know 50 rappers?
I was like, I don't. So then I was like, yo, I turned to like my hotel room into like a suite. We lifted the mattress up out of the bed, put it up on the wall, grabbed all the hangers, and just made a showroom of AND1. So next thing you know, I'm inviting Busta, Buckshot, everybody, Big Labs from BT. So I'm getting everybody to take pictures in the clothes in front of in the hotel.
In front of the mattress that's upturned against the wall.
It was, no, it was white backdrop there.
Oh,
it was white backdrop.
It's an official showroom.
It was a showroom now. Like, don't let them know.
Yeah, when people say that you didn't have effects, these are the effects.
These are my effects. Yeah. So then I go back, get the pictures. I go to Rite Aid, drop the camera off. Then I got
wait 3 to 5 days.
Yeah. It was 2-day rush. I only had 2 days. 2-day rush. Get back to Philly. I got the pictures. I go by the Source. I go by Word Up. And there was a couple other magazines. I was like, hey, yo, I want to come back up to AND1 and show y'all what I did. So next thing you know, I'm showing the magazine, and then I pull the pictures out to match every rapper that I had. Like, yo, this is Buckshot. This is Smith & Wesson. This is Busta. And they was like, you know all these people? I was like, yo, here, like, they are holding or wearing the shirt. They was like, you want a job? I was like, yeah. They was like, I was like, what am I going to do? They was like, product placement. I was like, what's that? They was like, you place product. I was like, oh, okay. And that was how I got my first job.
Holy shit.
AND1.
And you knew Busta and all these guys, like, just through the years.
Through the years of the industry, yeah.
Did you see the vision?
Not yet.
Well, were you wearing the clothes?
Hell no. I wasn't then. I was still, like, wearing Nikes.
Yeah.
But I threw a tee on in the shorts.
But it's a job.
I kind of was trying to prove myself before I really got immersed in the brand.
Gotcha.
So that was the first thing. And then I got thrown into the next step when it started getting really serious. I got thrown into like a 14-hour marketing meeting. They went up to a hotel. We locked the hotel. Nobody could make calls. All in the room. Beepers off. Phones off. Everything was just locked us in. And
what's worse, a 14-hour marketing meeting or a 13-hour flight to Switzerland?
The flight, because we were talking about, they just signed Latrell Sprewell, so it was kind of fun.
Oh, man.
So they threw me in a marketing meeting. I knew nothing about it. And it was like, and I think I was like the cool black guy. And it was like, yo, we're about to do this campaign with Latrell wearing braids. Do you want to do it? I was like, oh, wait, that's a little racy. I don't want to do that.
Right.
So some of the stuff, they pulled me in. I was like, all right, cool. So we left the meeting. We had a Canon XL1 and a GL1 camera. So I went down and seen Quest. He was in the studio. And I was like, yo, I got an idea. Let me film you. And I was like, yo, tell me what you feel playing the drums, how Latrell drops to the basket. And then he started doing that. I was like, so tell me how you feel. I did like 3 questions. And I had the raw footage. And it was Quest just playing drums about how you feel about Latrell. Took it back to AND1 and showed them. They put me on a plane to Florida to Crispin Porter Bogusky, which is an advertising agency.
Yeah, it is.
To edit the commercial.
To put this in perspective, Spree was new to the Knicks at that point.
Totally.
And Crispin Porter later became like the Burger King and
the Truth campaign, Burger King, Home Depot.
Pushed the limits and like changed
Alex Bogusky is like a mentor of mine. Like the one who really was the last part of Crispin Porter Bogusky.
But for you to go to Questlove and say, hey, how do you feel about this?
Yep.
Like, convey that through your craft. That's just second nature to you. This isn't like formal training. This is just like, and now they're like, we see it. go talk to these guys and put something together?
Literally sent me down there with the footage and was like, let's make this a commercial. Next thing you know, I call Quest. I'm like, yo, Quest, they want to make this commercial. This is going to be a lot of money for you. He was like, this is going to be my first time on TV. I was like, let's do this. Next thing you know, it's in playoff, and it was AND1 commercial, just straight, grainy, gritty.
Well, how do you feel? Like, this must be like a whirlwind. Like,
yeah, I was like, wow. I
forget the snakes.
Yeah,
Like,
the snakes was over. I'm out the group now. it was a wrap. I was a director, and I directed a commercial, and I was like, I didn't look at it like I was being a director. I was a creative director because I came up with the concept, but I didn't look at it like I was a creative director. I was like, I'm just going to see my friend in the studio and shoot him. And then I was like, wow, I'm a producer because it's on TV now. I'm watching it on ABC. Like, this is crazy. So once that happened, AND1 was like, yo, you want to be a director of marketing? And I was like, yeah, I'll take it.
But do these titles mean anything to you, or is it just like...
I'm off the block, the 1200s, straight learning everything as I go along. So then I was like...
It's your intuition.
Yeah, it was just like my pulse. It was a heartbeat. So then I said, no, you know what? Let's make that director of entertainment marketing. And I was like, because I don't know all the other stuff. And he was like, cool. And that's how it all started.
When did you find out that Latrell Sprewell saw the commercial?
When he came in the office. He came in because we was running two campaigns at the same time. One was the print campaign with everybody wearing braids, and we ran the Questlove commercial.
And what did he say?
He was like, it's a cool group. And I was like, bad. I'm doing something right. So,
were you a Knicks fan or were you a Sixers fan?
Wow, that was a good question. I really died out of sports for a minute because I was so into hip hop.
Wow,
very political.
Yeah.
It's a great answer, right? Got that from Trump. So. But I just was so into hip hop. I just fell out of sports for a little bit.
But now you're working with a bunch of people who want to spread the word through entertainment and sports.
So it was a gift, man, because I always say I learned sports, fashion, retail, and I lived hip hop all at one time.
Who was the act that you had at the very top of the list? You're like, I need to see them with AND1.
Well, that's really kind of when the AND1 mixtape started. It was like, how do I get all these artists I really like to work with?
But wait,
before we even go into that?
Okay.
AND1 is an independent company out of Philly.
Out of Philadelphia. Yep.
And they're going against Nike, Adidas, Reebok, like all these big brands.
Yeah, not even at that point. They wasn't even going to get. It was just like cool guys, the owners of the company, doing something.
But it's like, taking off obviously enough to get like an ABC commercial. Like there's money coming in. Yeah, totally. So like, who's buying all of this stuff?
Well, they got in Foot Locker from just the T-shirts. The Trash Talk tees.
Yeah.
That's what started it. So the Trash Talk tees was just and they already had Stephon Marbury signed. That was like their first person. Then when Sprewell, because see, where AND1 was smart, they took a lot of the players that was in trouble. He just choked the coach out.
Yeah.
Right.
He came to New York, and they were smart enough to say, look, he's going to the #1 capital in America. If we put marketing behind this, it's going to move. And that's when the red flag got raised. Like, wow, these guys are competing with Nike and stuff now from a marketing aspect, because you got the Knicks, you got Sprewell, you got the coach, all that. So that's when that's when the trajectory started of now they're a competitor.
And by the way, it helped that the Knicks went to the finals in '99.
Exactly.
Yeah, they were playing very well.
Things aligned at the same time.
Those were good years.
Oh my God.
For all three of us Knicks fans.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Knicks fans.
Yeah.
So, was there an idea that you guys would shy away from, like, trying to go get a Tim Duncan or get someone else on that level, and it was like, let's move in a different direction, and maybe street ball is that move?
Well, by the way, Tim Duncan, not a guy who gets in trouble.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think, Skip was already a part of AND1, but it wasn't known to a lot of people.
Did you call him Skip, or did you call him like Rafer? Or
I called him Skip.
Yeah.
Skip, I always called him Skip.
So he was a part of AND1.
He was part of AND1.
How did you transition into making the AND1 mixtape?
So AND1 had a kitchen. And in the kitchen, it was a VCR, and a TV. And it was like a little dirty wood shelf with all the VHSs on there. So Jeffrey Smith, who was the head of marketing, we went in there and we just popped the tape in, and I was watching them. I was like, this is incredible. Like, what are y'all doing with this? Y'all crazy. And I was like, oh, can I take these home? Can I take a tape home? 2 of them? And he was like, yeah, just bring them back. Make sure you bring them back. And this is just raw footage. All these, Gauchos, Jim, and Rucker, West 4th. Just all these street ball tapes. So back then in my studio, I had the TV hanging from the top of the wall, but it hung right over my turntables. So the way I used to practice was I turned the TV volume down and play the music from the turntable. So it was the TV with the VHS in the bottom. I thought I was hot. So I popped the tape in, like, made that noise, and I was like, what? So then I'm like hitting play, and I'm just watching. I was like, okay. So then I'm just DJing, watching the tape, and it hit. I was like, snares for jump shots, kicks for dunks. And I was like, pat, 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 doom, doom, pat. And I was like, wait, this is feeling good. So then I just play a beat, and I had the bed in the back right behind it in another part of the studio, and I was just like, boom, cut the beat on, just watch the screen, and I timed it. I was like, bap, I got the snare up. So for some reason, like every 15 seconds or something, it matched up on its own. And I was just watching it like, I got it. I found gold. Go to work the next morning, I was like, yo, y'all got to put me in the studio. They was like, what do you want to do, make a record? And I was like, no, the tapes, music, I can't explain it. I was like, y'all got to put me in the studio. I was like, but it can't be a regular studio. I was like, it has to be somewhere with, I don't know nothing. I was like, some way how to put the picture to music. I don't know how to do that. They was like, you want to have it? I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, I never heard of that word. It was like, it's the editing bay that you need to do that. And I was like, yeah, cool. Can it's one around the corner? Is one downtown? They was like, no, you got to go back to Crispin Porter Bogusky. I was like, all right, cool. I'll go back to Florida.
Yeah, what a bummer to go to Miami.
Yeah.
They was like, we're going to put you in the Marlin Hotel for a week. And I was like, there was a crazy studio in the Marlin. I was like, all right, I'll go down there. So they put me in the studio, and they was like, what do you need? And I have a book bag, and I'm like, oh, I need 2 Technics 1200s, turntables, and a Vestex mixer. Can y'all get me a Vestex? They was like, okay, we'll get you a Vestex. So next thing you know, they bring in, they was like, what do you want to do? I was like, pull the picture up, and somehow I need you to record me playing this music over that. So then it was like, okay, so we did a test. So I put a demo together in a week, then I flew back, and I was like, this is what I want to do. And they was like, yo, this feels great. And they was like, can you do it? I was like, yeah. They was like, all right, we're going to send you down there for 3 months. Make it happen. So I literally was in Miami for 3 months. So now the next step was, these was records. This was all done. I had to figure out a way to get music that wasn't done. Great point was I was still signing Tommy Boy Records. So I was like, Sam Crespo was there.
Hey.
Chris Atlas was there.
Hey, our guys.
Yeah, all my guys. And I was like, yo, I need music that's not out, but that's about to come out. I need white label music. I need music in the studio.
Yeah.
So then I was working with Raucus too at this, like, I started learning Raucus and Giant, Brian and Jared became my guys, and Danny. And I was like, yo, I'm working on something. I need some music that's not out. So Sound Bombing was coming out, and I knew Mos, I knew Quad, and I knew them, and I was like, yo. So the whole first tape was Raucus and Tommy Boy Records. And that's how the AND1 Mixtape got the music. So then I got the records, and then I didn't even have to DJ because I couldn't. They wasn't even pressed up yet. They was just DAT tapes, just final mixes on DATs. So we got all the footage, put all the music to there, and then I was like, this ain't right. I was like, being a student of listening from Ron G and SNS, I was like, this still needs some more stuff. So I was like, yo, this need drops. I need the rappers shouting out something. But I was like, but I don't want to tell them what to say because it's going to feel phony.
Right.
So I told the engineer, I was like, can you make me 15 copies of this tape? Just 1 minute of this tape. Like 1 or 2 minutes. So next thing you know, he made 15 copies. I'm calling everybody out. Calling Wanye from Boyz II Men. Call Sway. all of my friends, yo, I'm gonna FedEx you a tape. I need you to watch it, and then I'm gonna call you the next day, and I need you to tell me what you think. So I FedExed all the tapes out. 2 days later, I'm calling everybody, patch the phone into the board, and I'm recording it. And that's how like Sway started the first. He was like, yo, this is Sway from the world's famous Wake Up Show. Watching the AND1 Mixtape is crazy. Yo, this is Wanye from Boys to Men. Checking it out at the Mad Studio, my man Free. This is sick. So that's how all the drops got done. So then I was like, watching, I'm like, okay, I got the drops. Shit still ain't right. And I was like, I need somebody screaming on this tape. And I was like, it should be me. I was like, yo, I'm going to be the dude.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, I went in the booth.
And the Queens came out of you.
It came out. I was like, yo, it's the AND1 Mixtape. Street ball to the fullest. No! And I was like, yo, it's done. I did it. So then we mixed it and mastered it. Put me back on the plane. I went to the office. They was like, we got something.
Hey guys, we just want to take 1 second to interrupt this podcast to tell you about our new album, Teddy Bear Fresh, available on all streaming services right now. Spotify, Pandora, Google Play, Tidal, Apple Music, everywhere that you can stream your music, you should go stream our music. It's called Teddy Bear Fresh, production by Greg Mayo, and features appearances by Bun B, Currency, Smoke Dizza, Michael Christmas, Tunji Ige, Jazz Cartier, Angie Martinez, Just Blaze, Combat Jack, and many more. Go support your boys, It's The Real, by pressing play on all those streaming services. Teddy Bear Fresh is the album. We will be performing cuts from that album live in LA on November 2nd. Go get your tickets at ItsTheReal.com. And now back to the podcast. So everyone knew it. They recognized it.
Yeah, the owners was like, the only hiccup was they was like, yo, let's call it the basketball mixtape. He was like, yo, what about the dribble mixtape or the dunk and slam? I was like, no. I was like, yo, let's just make it the AND1 Mixtape.
Well, here's the thing. I can't trust you with names at this point because you've already worked with the Unknown Roughnecks, which is a
Deadly
horrible
Snakes.
name. And Deadly Snakes is a horrible name.
But they didn't know that, though.
Yeah.
They didn't know nothing about that.
You're the director of entertainment marketing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, what'd you say goes?
Yeah, after Quest, they counted. The names went away.
Well, so, okay. Musicians get it. Personalities get it.
Yep.
Do the basketball players get it?
So,
who are you playing it for?
I didn't play it for nobody. I didn't know none of the street ball players. None. So we got the tape done. We hired Heavyweight from Canada, which is a big art company. They did the cover. And I'll never forget, I called Sam. They was like, how many tapes you want to do? I was like, 100,000. They was like, 100,000? They was like, let's do 10,000 at first.
Yeah.
So I'll never forget, I called Sam Crespo. I was like, yo, Sam, I got it. All the record, I called Sam and I called Raucus. And I was like, yo, all the music y'all gave me done. It's on these mixtapes. I want to send them to the label so y'all street teams can pass them out. Sam called me like, yo, what are you doing? It's a flatbed truck out front with a forklift. We got skids of tapes.
Oh, my God.
Same thing with Raucus. And I was like, yo, I'm sorry. I didn't know they was going to send that many tapes. So next thing you know, both labels got all the ship to their street teams. And then I went up to Rucker with like 500 tapes, and we just flooded the court. And that was the start of the mayhem. So then all the street ball players started calling in one like, yo, we gonna sue y'all. Y'all got us on this joint. Where the bread at? How y'all gonna start putting us out? Who got paid?
Short term.
Well, wait, yeah, so like the basketball players have like, you know, legal issues with it. I'm surprised the record companies.
It was promotion only.
Giving them
Oh,
out.
because you're not actually
selling them. Yeah, so I talked to the labels. They gave me the music.
Yeah.
So it was all promotional. We talking
yeah.
1997, 1997.
Right, this is like before like Napster, all that shit.
It's,
So like,
it's way before.
yeah. So like the
We're
record
VHS
labels,
though.
The record labels are like thriving.
They're loving it because there was no legal needed to be. I didn't do no paperwork for volumes 1 through 4 with record labels.
What a
Unbelievable.
time. Yeah.
No, nothing.
Promotional use only. Like, for real.
It was done.
So the ball players have a problem with this.
Yep.
How do you settle that?
Baseball
So-
bats.
So I
Deadly
was
snakes. Yeah.
exactly could have been. So I was like, yo, I gotta go to Rucker. We need to go meet these guys. And the Skip knew him, but and he's like, so I went to it was a street ball classic in Virginia, and main event, me and a guy named Jeff, I forgot his last name, went.
Rosenthal.
Probably was you.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Smith and another guy named Jeff. We went to Virginia, and I met Main Event. And I was like, yo, this dude, because he was in the first volume.
Yeah.
He was dunking like crazy. I've never seen anybody dunk the ball like he did on the street ball level. And I was like, yo, dude, you are really serious. And I was like, yo, I'm working on something, man. Like, I don't know the business. They not selling it. They're not making money off y'all right now. So I was like, it's got to be a way to fix this. So then there was another guy named George that worked at the YMCA in Harlem, and he knew Headache. So he's like, yo, I know the kid Headache. I'll help y'all get to him. So those are the first two guys I met, was Headache and Main Event. And then I went to the Rucker and met everybody else. And we was like, yo, we need to get a team together. So the first players to orchestrate the team was Main Event, Shane the Dribbling Machine, Future, Headache, Half Man, Half Amazing, and Aircraft. That was the first 6. And I was like, yo, I got it, y'all. Y'all gonna be the first people to get a street ball deal like the NBA players. I said, let's get y'all signed to AND1.
What'd they say?
They was like, yo, owns the bag, right? They didn't say the bag. The bag wasn't the terminology.
Yeah.
It came later, but they was like, yo, let's figure it out. And then I went back and was like, yo, we need to sign these guys. And we signed it. We got lawyers, got a deal, and the first ever street ball players to get signed.
What record do you think really popped off that first tape?
1999 was Common and Mos. Put it down, and it was Sadat on that. I think it was Common, Mos. I think it was Common, Mos, and Sadat, but that was one. No. Yeah, that was when Raucus gave me that record. I was like, whoa, y'all gave me a joint.
The success of the tapes is like evident right away to you. Do the ball players get it, and do the record labels get it? Do they see and they're like, yo, when's Volume 2 coming out?
Exactly. It started, AND1, after we got the first one out there, the streets started talking, the kids in the neighborhoods was like, yo, AND1, this is cool. The mixtape became a barbershop phenom because the VHS was in every barbershop, and it showed the Rucker outside of New York to everybody, to like what was going on. You remember Shane was dancing on the court. Future, they was jumping over people, jumping over each other, popping the ball off people's forehead. So it became like a hood legendary classic fast. So, and when we was like, what are we doing? Because we kind of ran out of footage after the first tape was compiled, Volume 1. So we actually talked to Main Event, because Main Event was like, he was like the one that did a lot of stuff, and we was like, yo, we got to do a game, our own game. So he was like, yo, let's do a game in my park in Jersey. I forgot what part Main Event lives in. So he lives in Jersey, and he put together a game in like a weekend. And we took all the players that was originally in the first tape, all the players we signed, and then they got other players to play them. And that was Volume 2.
How quickly you turn that around?
I mean, it may be after the game, maybe 4 to 5 months getting it. It was a year probably after the first tape. So,
and what's the difference in numbers from the first tape to the second one in terms of like tapes produced and pushed?
I think I forgot exactly, but we started getting up to the 100,000 tapes, like maybe close to 200 for the second tape.
Oh, so Sam Crespo couldn't hold you back.
Yeah, I was ready.
Yeah,
because now I'm calling Interscope, I'm calling everybody. Like I'm starting to get other records and stuff.
And how is the apparel moving at that time?
It started getting there. It's been so long. I don't know when we came up with the concept to you have to go into Foot Action to get a tape. That's when the apparel started really moving. Like you go into Foot Action, you get kids was buying headbands, like they was buying whatever. But then we figured out that second tape we figured out a mistake, because kids was going to the store buying Nikes and Reeboks just to get a tape, and the stores was like, bet, we don't care, whatever it is, we making money. So then third tape we made it where it's like you have to buy AND1 product to get a tape. But after the second tape, that's when it started becoming a lifestyle.
Looking back at it now, what do you think from what you did in terms of spreading street ball around the country and the world, your vision did to organize basketball.
It was incredible, man, because I was watching ESPN, and I think we was, remember the carry rule, we was the reason that changed, because that's when, street ball people was playing and they'll do the wide crossover, and then next thing you know, it was like a double dribble. We feel like we changed the dress code because the AND1 logo became a tattoo on many NBA players, just a man holding the ball out. So that became crazy. Just the between what Allen Iverson created for the culture and
right.
the AND1, at the same time, we feel like a lot of things we did helped the league, and also they would say hurt the league. We feel like the dress code changed. The dress evolved. The dress code came when the height of the AND1 mixtapes happened. The palm rule, the tattoos really started flourishing because it was like street ball. It was like the players in the NBA was like, yo, I still want to feel like I'm playing street ball. So, and then just on a marketing aspect, we've seen ESPN through them years start really digging in the crates. Like, I was like, yo, next thing you know, we've seen the editing styles of ESPN change to, you see like the rap video, now the chyrons is in the bottom of the quarter of certain highlights. We was like, yo, this is our whole wave. So it was just a true testament to see what we created to go into the professional sports.
Yeah. But were you guys like flattered by that, or was it just like what are you feeling at that point? When
I was flattered, but I was like, I'm broke. Like, I was like, yo, this is like, we're changing the world, and it's like we're making our money, but it's like, yo, to see your ideas and your creativity and magnitude start changing the world, it's like, oh, how can we keep taking this to another level and making more money, and like, how can this really turn into business? Because we was all young, we didn't have lawyers, we were just fresh off the blocks, and we just was like, so it was a difficult balance. Like, we're happy, we're loving it, we're young, we're flying around, touring, Europe, Australia, but then at the same time it was like, wow, we got to figure out a way to make more money with this.
And how did you make more money with it?
It was at a point where I was an employee. So once I started learning, I didn't take the music industry format to that, because I couldn't, because once I worked there as an employee, it was over. Any intellectual property you give them, they own it. So I was like, okay, these are the reasons why I positioned myself more as a talent all the way through when I worked at AND1, because that door was shut, not having legal when I got hired. But at 26, I didn't know nothing about that.
When did the sort of AND1 wave sort of crash?
Well, I feel like we was on a high. We went to volume 5. We did 4 volumes without selling. Volume 5, we started selling. So the public and the kids started being like, because the tour in the beginning, we'd pull up to your neighborhood and do a free game in the park for free. Once we started going to the Staples Centers and, the big arenas and charging, it started getting different. Then I remember the marketing heads and the owners was like, okay, Free, you got to go to record labels now, negotiate how to get this music because we're selling it. And I was like, oh, this is
another conversation.
This is a whole nother. Now I'm calling artists like, yo, I need you to do me a solid. Oh, for free, the sample ain't cleared. So that's when I knew it started changing. But what also happened, the tour happened. So, one side of the business was great because the tour happened, the ESPN TV show, the Mountain Dew sponsorship, the big money. But on this side, what built it, the AND1 Mixtape, started going through a different trajectory path.
But what artists were still fucking with you?
All of them. Like I did a Styles P commercial with Kevin Garnett, and Timberland did the beat. So we started extending, besides just the mixtape, we started actually now putting music in our real television commercials, in-store campaigns. So it was other ways that artists was making money. Me and DJ Enough did a mixtape for them, and so we, I was controlling a great budget, so I was still paying artists on other things like performances. Mos Def performed at Hunter College. We had the Locks perform. I forgot the park outside right up near the water up in Harlem. We had like all the Beanie Siegel Freeway, like so Fat Joe. So I had a great budget to pay everybody. So that was the balance I was doing. Like, okay, yo, I'm gonna get you for this in store. I'm gonna get you for perform at the game, but in turn, I need you to go work your label, try to get this cleared for me at a low price.
Yeah.
So I think once we started selling the product, that's when the game changed.
How does your time with AND1 finish up?
AND1 got sold, and once I did 9 years.
Yeah.
Great bid. It was a cool bid. I did 9 years, and I just started learning the business so much more, and certain things started happening. I was like, you know what? I created what got y'all to this platform. I should have been smarter, but no regrets. And I was like, they sold the company. They started laying a lot of people off. We was at like close to maybe 200 employees. It got back down to like maybe 40 employees, and then I was next. And it was like, okay, it's free. We gotta let you go.
Wait, was that all in the one office in Philly?
We had a big office. We had a in Philly. We had full court. We had pool room with pool tables, and it was a big office.
And then like it just gets decimated, like 200 down to 40.
Yeah. So
that's like an empty warehouse.
Office. Yeah, it was turned into like a scene off Walking Dead.
You're a director, a producer, a visionary,
and then you're the only employee.
Yeah. So how do you take those skills and figure out where to move next?
So left AND1, got a nice severance. So I was like, okay,
congratulations,
thank you. I fought hard. Yeah. Got a good severance and got a call from Steve Rifkin. He's like, yo, you created the AND1 Mixtape. I need you on my team at Loud Records. I was like, okay. And I was loyal, man. I'm just a loyal guy. Nike tried to hire me when I was with AND1. Probably the dumbest thing I ever did, but I didn't go.
Well, do you like Portland?
Yeah, I was thinking about going out there and crying because it rained all the time. And, I could have hung it up out there. And Steve Rifkin called and was like, yo, I'm watching you. Because through that time, I was working with Crispin, so I was learning a lot. And then Steve was like, I know you do marketing. He literally drove to Philadelphia. Him and shouts out to my brother, Gabi, came down to Philly. We went to a cheesesteak spot, and he's like, yo, I want you on my team. And I was like, wow. He's like, I want you to do marketing with Loud Records. And Loud, and I'm about to do a new venture sometime soon, and I want you over here.
Okay, but really quick, are you a Geno's guy or a Pat's guy?
I'm a Rocco's guy.
Okay.
Rocco's, and get ready to laugh. It's a cheesesteak spot outside of Home Depot. It's the best. I will bet on it. It's Rocco's. Like all his Pats, Geno's. Ishkabibble's cool.
Get your wheelbarrow,
your
lumber, and
when you get in a 2x4, when they doing whatever they doing, and they tell you it's gonna be 15 or 20 minutes. I'm at Rocco's.
See, this is the marketing that you should be doing for Rocco's.
Yo, like when the money get there, I'm probably gonna invest in Rocco's. But so that was. Steve came down and I was like,
you were like, let's build, and he's like, all right, where? And you're like, at the Home Depot.
So and then not too long after that, I'm working with Steve Rifkin.
So his new situation was SRC.
Yeah, it was right. It was like maybe a year before he went to SRC.
So who are some of the artists that he's got on the roster at that point?
I worked on Akon's first album. We was at Akon even before he signed them. David Banner, Remy Ma. Terror Squad, Lean Back, got to work that album, and those are my projects.
At that time, so Lean Back's obviously like a smash,
out of here,
#1 hit, right?
Joe came over there with that record, and that's when Khaled was around him as his DJ, and it was like you were seeing Joe, the whole Terror Squad movement born, and when that record came, it was like big record. Like the building was happy.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Yeah,
totally happy.
Keep the lights on.
That's right.
Kept the block on.
Yeah.
A lot of them locked up.
Yeah.
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 You know.
Oh my God.
Banner, it was just fun. I was like, wow, we got an artist from Mississippi. This is
like a pimp.
yeah, like a pimp.
Yeah.
And Lil Flip. Oh, Lil Flip was.
Oh.
You remember Lil Flip? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, yo.
That's a lot of good records.
Yeah,
right there.
like Steve was breaking some real records, and did my time with him with that, and I was like, a couple years, like 3-year run, and I was like, you know what, I just want to do marketing on a different level. It was like I felt like, you know.
So a couple years there, and you're thinking outside of music.
Well, Chris Robinson, which was the
Director.
Yeah.
called me, and I was just home. You know, doing consult because I was consulting after I left AND1 for everybody.
And are you living in Philly or New York?
I was living in Philly, driving back and forth to New York. I was staying with a cool Jewish family on 21st Street between 5th and 6th, right down the street from Slate.
Mm-hmm.
Going to work, staying there back and forth for 3 years. And then Chris Robinson called me and was like, yo, you want to help be music coordinator for ATL the movie? And I was like, yeah. So I flew out there and
You called Mos Def.
and Raucous Records and Tommy Boy again.
Perfect.
So I actually went to L.A. and lived with Chris from the first week of January till when the ATL movie came out, and I lived in Chris' apartment, and I went to Warner Brothers studio every day. He dropped me off the first week and said, hey, here's my guy Set Free. He did AND1 Mixtapes. He knows a bunch of producers, hip-hop. He knows everybody. See you later. So I'm in the studio with Julia. I forgot her name. She's a big music supervisor. She did like The Devil Wears Prada. She worked on a lot of great movies. And she was like, so we're just looking for some beats. We're looking for some tracks to go in these scenes. Any producers, the budget. The budget's always small.
Yeah.
And you could be doing like something for the president. The budget's small. So they was like, here, just sit in here. We're gonna play the movie for you. Get to watch the movie, and just can you by Thursday start getting some beats? And I was like, this is sweet.
Yeah.
So I called Isaac Hayes, the third son. Isaac Hayes' son from Atlanta. A couple other producers I know, and they just start sending beats over. So then I think I got like maybe 100 beats and close to 100. And then the next week, they was like, all right, let's start striping them. Let's start putting the beats to the scenes. And that's took me like, I worked for maybe 5 months to do that whole job and stuff.
You've gone from, a small TV.
Exactly.
Your turntables right there to watching
movie
on
screen,
a movie screen.
Watching a movie screen.
Is this the move for you at that point? Are you like, let me do more?
I was, literally me and I got married right after that, and I was like, wow, this is incredible. I was like, but it was through a friend. It wasn't like I was gonna pursue a scoring
as a career.
I was like, I just knew I always had a good ear, connections in music, knowing how to navigate through the waters, and got married and came back to Philly, and I just was like, okay, you know what? I'm still going to do consultant marketing.
Yeah.
And I just celebrated it, made a nice piece of change, and enjoyed the money for a while. And was like, okay, let's see what opportunity's going to come next.
And what comes next?
My guy, Jeffrey Smith, who was my head of marketing at AND1,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
now is at Nike.
Trader.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I jumped on the wrong boat. Right, totally. Calls me, and it's like, hey, man, what are you doing? Like, I'm just consulting for a little bit of everybody. Want to come to Nike and come out here and see what we could cook up. And he was out there head of like digital new web content and stuff. He created a it wasn't an app, it was like a program for Nike. All the basketball courts on like who Nike affiliated had marks on them that you could find them. So if you were like in a town and you wanted to look up where you should go play basketball, get a good run, Nike will let you know where to go play. If you want good one-on-one, if you want to go good like full court, half court. So he brought me over. He's like, yo, we need music. And so he brought me in and I started consulting. And then he was like, LeBron's over here. He was like, yo, I should introduce you to the guy that's doing it. Now his name was Brian Fairbairn. He was heading up the LeBron campaign. I met him and he was like, yo, I like what you're doing. We should, the puppet campaign was going on. Shout out to my guy Will Green. He was one of the head designers for LeBron. He created the Lion, the whole King thing. And he was like, yo, rock with us on LeBron too. So I started working between LeBron campaign. I think those were the 4, 5s, and 6 when I worked at Nike around that time. and working with Jeffrey Smith and Digital and Nike.
Had your musical taste changed over the years, or do you still consider yourself like
A raucous.
a raucous head, or like?
It's funny, man, because I'm always it's just everything in life is like a pair of something, like left hand, right hand. So it was to that left side. It was the raucous, the Dead Prez, but then the right side was the Mobb Deeps, the street. It was like street hip hop, and then just real cultural, knowledgeable, good hip hop.
Yeah.
So even to that, I love Jay Dilla, but I love 40, at the same time. So I was split always, and then I think I got like little jaded too, because doing music, once you go into a business room, you're always looking for music that fits.
Right, whatever the task is at hand.
Yeah. So AND1, I was like, I DJ for Last Emperor at one point, and I was like, how can I get Last Emperor on the tape, but at the same time get Outkast on the tape? So it was like, I always wanted to be that person that could bring both genres on, and that's what was so great about the AND1 mixtape. It was like you could get Sway and Styles P, but I put Wanye on the drop right between them. People are like, what is? But okay, Wanye likes basketball, so I always been split between music.
So you're at Nike working that LeBron campaign, that those 4, 5, 6s. Do they seed you with all those 4, 5, 6s?
Yeah, I got seated. Some heat. I had the taxis. I had the Christ the King. I still got the Christ the Kings. I got the Yankee LeBron with the blue and felt stripes. I got the Saturday Night Live Air Force One LeBrons.
Yo, wait. Okay. Are you your shoes look clean right now? Are you like Clark Kent, where you're like, I'm gonna wear my shoes, or are you like Mayer and all those guys who are like, let me just keep those locked
Or
in?
are you like Dame Dash and you get a pair of shoes, wear it once, then throw it out?
Right.
Okay, I'm totally not the Dame.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it to somebody. Salvation Army. I'm gonna do that. Nothing wrong with what Dame do. They was on top. I probably would have did the same too. Clark, shouts out to Yoda. That's the big bro. I can't say I'm like Clark. I'll wear a lot, but certain things I just won't wear. Yeah. Like some of the things that I received, and I'm a sample size 9. So some of the things
You're a lucky guy.
I'm blessed. Blessed, super blessed. Some of the things I just won't touch, like all the LeBrons that I got when I worked there, I'm not touching.
Sit on a shelf.
Yeah.
They're in clear boxes.
In
a shelf. I can't do it.
Flip them on eBay.
Yeah.
I don't even want to flip them. Like it's just some of them just beautiful. I'm like, so certain pairs I'm just keeping.
After Nike, where are you going?
So then, it's so funny. The AND1 crew, like we're like the Big Bang Theory. So when
Bazinga.
boom. So when the company dispersed, we're everywhere.
Yeah.
Like still to this day, some of us at Under Armour. We're in every company, and basically
Still relevant in different places.
In different places. Yeah. So I get a call from a guy at Underground who started Underground
In Philly. Yeah.
And it was Pete Smalls, the guy that got me in AND1. Dustin Canalan has started a brand called Underground, and they called me and it was like, yo, we need you to do what you did for AND1 with us. And I was like, all right, let me check it out. And they had same blueprint. It was t-shirts, but it was the character drawn t-shirts.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, this is kind of hot. And they had sneakers. And I was like, yo, this is kind of dope. So then they grabbed another guy named Jeff Shea, which was the CFO of AND1. And we got a 5-man team of all of us that was from AND1. We put a 5-man team together. And that was my next venture.
Yo, Underground clothes were so hard.
Yeah.
Like, I love that shit.
And also, I think, someone could easily say, okay, 5 people versus like 200 people, but the times are so different where like technology has changed things, where marketing can easily be done by
easy. Hypebeast was just coming around, High Stonobity.
Yeah.
Complex made the left turn, like the blogs were starting web, so what we had to do back in the day was totally different now from how we got the brand out there.
Right, you're not hand to hand anymore.
Yeah,
it was sending an email blast.
Who are you seeding your clothes to now?
So when I got on board, the first person I did a campaign in starting 5 with DJs. It was Rich Medina, King Britt, Neil Armstrong, Prince Paul, and Green Lantern. That was my. The campaign was called Starting Five, and I was like, I want 5 different DJs. If I had to put them on a basketball court, how would they all match up and how it'd be different? So we flew everybody to Philly. We did a photo shoot. We had Serato set up, and everybody was like trading secrets, and it was like one of my favorite campaigns like I ever done still to this day.
Just real quick, does that make Green like the point guard?
Yeah, who's the center?
Nah, Rich Medina center.
Okay.
We can go through the 5. Rich dunked on Rick Fox in real life, like
real life.
In real life,
Oh.
like shouts out to Rich.
Yeah.
Real life. He got the picture. I've been trying to get it forever out of his house.
It's documented?
Yeah, it's documented.
Was Rick Fox like sitting?
No, it was. I think he was in the air. Like we'll call him after this, but we gotta see the clip. It's incredible.
Yeah.
But Rich is probably like 6'3", 6'4".
Okay.
I would have put Neil Armstrong. I'd have put him in guard. Prince Paul's genius, so we put him at the point.
Right.
To feed the ball. So you got Green, Rich in the middle, and who was King? Dang, that's a tough one. Paul's like LeBron though.
Okay.
He could be a guard and a forward.
Right.
So I'll put Neil at the other guard and Britt at forward.
By the way, I bet they could beat the Knicks.
Not the 99 Knicks.
No, not the Knicks.
Not the 99 Knicks. So that was the first campaign. And after that, everybody was like seeing
on
it.
board.
We got it on all the blogs. Slam X Hype, remember them?
Yep, sure.
Slam X Hype, High Snub, and
Tell us about where Compound came from and what the idea was behind that.
Compound really started from the Deadly Snakes, but it wasn't called Compound. So in the studio, it was a studio in a row home in Southwest Philadelphia, and it was 3 rooms. One room was the studio. We had a vocal booth. The other room was just where my DJ setup was, and like a little writing area, my bed and everything. But then the hallway, huge Star Wars fan. I've been collecting Star Wars since the beginning.
Yeah.
All my Star Wars toys was in the hallway. So it was always toys, studio, and video games. And when I was in Philly, I always had a hard time of getting artists to come by the studio when they got to Philly.
Because they hate Star Wars.
No, because my names was terrible. But I just used to always be like, yo, Daylight, y'all in town, come by. No, we got a show. Oh, Gravediggers, y'all in town, come by. No, we can't. Nobody wanted to come to Philly. So I redid it. I tried it again, and I did it in Philly, and I was like, yo, it's called Compound. And when I did it this time, after the AND1 Mixtape and after everything I did in the industry, people started coming. Stolly came through, Jake One came through, Cannon, who else? Prince Paul, all the Philly guys, Freeway, and I was like, yo, I got something. So it was Compound. I was in a row home, and I was like, you know what? It's not gonna work unless I go back home. And then came back home to the Bronx, and I was like, it's time to
Your first home.
First home.
Yeah.
That I don't remember, but home.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? It's time to do the Compound in the Bronx.
So what sets the Compound apart from anywhere else?
It's the Andy Warhol's fun factory for hip hop.
Wow.
And a little bit more added on to it. But, Andy Warhol, like when you think about it, people who don't know the story, you got Andy was in there, Basquiat was in there. What they was doing there besides painting, we don't know, but there was a lot going on in there.
Well, so, what's the goal for you now? Because we see, like, you have Freeway and Guru coming through, and you have Jadakiss coming through. Like, what is the goal now?
Well,
Yeah, who makes up the collective?
the Compound is to me is now it's evolved to toys. It's evolved to the space alone, just the space, which is a recording space, which is a marketing war room to come and flush your ideas out. There is the music side, which we have artists that we're trying to break into the industry. It's just a creative sparring gym for any genre, and it's a format from Bape, from the early days. Being blessed to go to Asia and see the Bape coffee shop, see the Bape retail, see the Bape barbershop. I'm like, wow, there's no brand to me in America that did that format the same way across many genres. Like, closest might be is BBC, but we don't have the BBC restaurant. We don't have the BBC, but the clothing part they took, and Pharrell did a great, incredible job. But Compound is a little bit of that format mixed with what I bring to the table.
After all these years, finding your way, creating opportunities for yourself, like just doing what you naturally feel, are you inspired right now? Are you comfortable right now? Where are you? Just sort of.
I'm totally inspired. What's going on? I mean, like we said in the beginning, to be able to create a toy, to have Chris Brown, Jim Jones, A$AP Ferg, Pusha, Jada to post this with not even me asking them to post it. It's, I'm so inspired to keep going in the world of art. And art is everything. It's music. It's cartoons. It's food. So I'm really being able to understand how to take art to genres, races, religions, cultures, just expand it all across the board.
Well, congratulations on seeing the vision in that that TV that was far from flat screen, right?
Totally.
In a day and age when it
was a pro scan.
But you know what? You saw something that no one else saw. So
yeah.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Spreading it far and wide and creating something out of nothing.
No,
and,
thank you.
Honestly, like, Compound is a dope name, so I feel like the growth is already there.
That's
like,
right.
After so many terrible names, Compound.
Yeah.
You know what? That was the comeback. Thank you, man.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank y'all. Thank you both, man.
Thanks, everyone, for listening to this new episode of A Waste of Time with It's The Real. If people want to find out more about us, we're It's The Real. If people want to find out more of this podcast of ours that you're listening to right now, it's called A Waste of Time with It's The Real. And if people want to find out more about our upcoming concert in Los Angeles, California on November 2nd at the Bootleg Theater over there on Beverly Boulevard, Jeff, where can they go?
You can always go to ItsTheReal.com to buy all of your tickets for all of our live events. You can also go to iTunes, search for A Waste of Time with It's The Real. You can also listen on our...
Whoa. Let's stop the music, if we could. In deference to your voice, let's go with the elevator music instead.
You can also listen to all of our old episodes on SoundCloud.com/awasteoftime. We are also on SoundCloud.com/ItsTheReal for all of our music. And you can also find that on Spotify, Pandora, any streaming service, including Google Play, especially Google Play. We are also on Twitter at It's The Real, Facebook at It's The Real, Instagram at It's The Real, and Snapchat. Neither one of us really uses it, but you can follow us there. It's The Real because It's The Real was taken.
Guys, this podcast doesn't go anywhere unless you spread the word. And we know it starts with us, so we like to shout someone out each week. And Jeff, you might not be able to shout someone out, but who would you like to
Conjure.
What? I didn't know if that was somebody.
No, Conjure is also Ludacris's
drink, right?
Yeah. I want to shout out Ludacris.
Shout out to Ludacris. Luda, spread the word about your boys, It's The Real, and our podcast, A Waste of Time with It's The Real. Go find it everywhere. I, Jeff, would like to shout out a whole bunch of people, starting with our good friend, the Bald God, Alex Chichamaro. I want to shout out Justin Fleischer, the Fleisch, who did an amazing interview with our guy, Boyder, who you guys might remember from the Asher Roth days. He has a podcast. Go listen to that. I want to shout out Leah Palmieri. I want to shout out Matt Fastow. And I want to shout out, rest in peace, the Evergreen Diner.
Did you know that Leah's brother got married this weekend?
I did not know that. Congratulations to them.
Yeah, so shout out to Chris Palmieri.
Wow. Big weekend for the Palmieri family.
And for all of us.
Not only getting married, but also getting a shout out on this podcast. November 2nd, It's The Real, Los Angeles.
Everybody from the West Coast must be there, including Macklemore.
We will see, Seattle, Portland, all the way down to Mexico.
Shout out to British Columbia. Shout out to the Aleutian Islands up in Alaska.
Guys, Bootleg Theater, not for real, for real.
Sure.
We'll see you guys next week.
Brat.
Well, that was sad.
Brat.